The plane hit the water so hard I felt it in my bones. I was 50 yards out. Then the sky ripped open. Black smoke. Fire. Impact. I'd come to this lake to stop saving people. To stop caring. But my hands moved before I could stop them. Before I dove, I saw him. A man on the far shore. Young. Expensive suit. Binoculars trained on the wreckage. Our eyes met. 1 second. Then I went under. The cold knocked the air from my lungs. I swam through smoke and fuel. Found him strapped in the sinking cockpit. Blood everywhere. Not breathing. Seatbelt jammed. I pulled. Nothing. Lungs burning. Vision going dark. Pulled harder. Snapped. Dead weight. So heavy. Kicked toward surface. Legs screaming. Broke through. Dragged him to shore. I pressed my mouth to his. Breathed. Again. Come on. Again. He coughed. Gasped. Alive. I walked home shaking. Didn't think about the man on the shore again. I should have. 3 days later. 10 black SUVs surrounded my cabin. The man I saved stood at my door. Luciano Caruso, the Mafia boss, and he was looking at me like I already belonged to him. I didn't open the door right away. Through the window, I counted the vehicles. 10. All black. All expensive. All wrong for these dirt roads. Men in suits stood beside them, not moving. Just watching my cabin like they were calculating threats. This wasn't the world I'd built here. This was the world I'd run from. Liam appeared beside me, pressing his face to the glass. Mommy, who are all those people? I picked him up, felt his small weight against my hip, the one thing I had to protect. Stay here, I said, setting him down. Do not come outside. But, Liam, stay. I opened the door. The man from the lake stood 10 feet away. In daylight, I could see him clearly now. Tall. Early 30s, dark hair perfectly styled. A scar cutting through his left eyebrow. And that suit. Black, 3 pieces, probably cost more than my truck. Behind him, his men stood in formation. All armed, all watching the tray line like this was enemy territory. I looked down at myself, jeans with mud on the knees, flannel shirt with a tear at the elbow. Work boots I'd had for 6 years. This isn't your world, I said. He studied the cabin, the weathered wood, the stone chimney, the garden where I grew vegetables, the old boat tied to my dock. No, he agreed. It's not. Silence. Just the sound of the lake lapping at the shore. I came to thank the woman who saved my life. You're welcome. Now you can leave. Grace Mullen. He said my name like he'd researched me, like he knew things. Former trauma nurse. Widow. 1 son. My blood went cold. How do you? I make it my business to know who I owe. You don't owe me anything. I disagree. One of his men stepped forward, holding a leather briefcase. Opened it. Stacks of cash. More money than I'd make in 5 years. Take it. No, it's not a negotiation. Then it's theft, because I'm not taking it. Something flickered in his expression. Prize. Maybe. Like people didn't usually say no to him. I could buy you a new boat, a new cabin, college fund for your son. I don't need your money. I need you to leave. Liam's face appeared in the window. Eyes huge, staring at all those men. The man followed my gaze. Saw my son. Something changed in his face. Softened for just a second. How old? That's not your business. 5, said a small voice behind me. I turned. Liam had opened the door. Was standing there with his stuffed bear, staring up at the stranger. Liam, inside, but Mommy, now. The man crouched down, meeting Liam at eye level. Your mother is very brave. You're lucky to have her. Liam nodded seriously. I know. Then he looked at the scar above the man's eye.
Does it hurt?
Not anymore. Good. Liam turned and went back inside. Satisfied. I faced the man again. Thank you for coming. But we're fine. You can go back to your world now. He stood, nodded to his men. They started moving back to their vehicles. I almost breathed again. Then one of his men spoke urgently into a radio. Rushed to him. Whispered something. The man's whole body went rigid. He turned back to me, and his expression was different now. Not grateful. calculating. We need to talk. Inside. No, it's not optional. This is my property. You don't. A sound, distant but distinct. A gunshot from the woods behind my cabin. The men moved instantly. Guns drawn. Surrounding us. Inside, the man said again, his voice hard now. Commanding. Now. This time, I didn't argue. Inside, Luciano moved through my cabin like he owned it. Checking windows. Exits. Sight lines. His men spread out. 4 stayed inside. The rest disappeared into the woods. Liam clung to my leg, silent. What's happening? I demanded. Luciano pulled out his phone. Spoke in rapid Italian. Commands. Harsh and precise. Then he looked at me. You have a basement? No. Attic? Just a crawl space. He cursed under his breath. Gestured to one of his men. Secure the perimeter. I want eyes on every approach. If anything moves, I want to know before it takes a breath. Sir. The man disappeared. I stepped forward. You need to tell me what's going on. Right now. Luciano turned to me. His eyes were different than before. Harder. Colder. This was the man people feared. 3 days ago, someone tried to kill me. They sabotaged my plane. It should have crashed with no survivors. But I pulled you out. Yes. And that created a problem. What problem? You saw something you weren't supposed to see. I thought back. The water. The smoke. The panic. I saw you. That's all. Before you went in. On the shore. What did you see? The man in the expensive suit. The binoculars. Someone was watching. Describe him. Young. Late 20s maybe. Dark hair. Slicked back. Nice suit. And he had a scar. Here. I touched my own cheek. Luciano's jaw tightened. Marco Vitale. Who? He moved to my window. Looked out at the lake. The Vitale family controls half of the New York underground. Drugs. Weapons. Human trafficking. Everything I work to keep out of my territory. You're Mafia. He didn't deny it. 2 years ago, they killed my younger brother, Matteo. He was 22. They tortured him for information. When I wouldn't talk, they sent me a video of his execution. My stomach turned. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'll make them pay for it. But that's not why I'm telling you this. He turned back to me. Marco Vitale being at that lake means the family ordered the hit directly. Not a contractor. Not a soldier. Family. And you saw him. So you're a witness? You can put him at the scene of an attempted assassination. That's evidence that destroys their ability to deny involvement. I'm not going to testify. I'm not going to the police. I just want to be left alone. It doesn't matter what you want. His voice was cold. Final. They know you saw Marco. They know you pulled me out alive. And they can't let either of those things stand. I'm saying they're coming to kill you. Today. Now. That gunshot wasn't random. My arms tightened around Liam. No. This isn't. I didn't do anything wrong. You saved my life. That's enough. His phone buzzed. He answered. Listened. His expression darkened. How many? A pause. Fall back to position 2. Protect the cabin. He hung up. Looked at me. They found a sniper in the woods. 1/4 mile north. He had a clear shot at your kitchen window. The room tilted. I felt Liam's small hand grip my shirt. Mommy? It's okay, baby. But it wasn't. Nothing was okay. Luciano crouched in front of me. Met my eyes. I need you to listen very carefully. The Vitale family sent someone to kill you. My men stopped him. But he wasn't alone. There are more coming. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But they will come, and when they do, if I'm not here to stop them, you and your son will die. This can't be happening. It is happening, and you have 2 choices. Let me protect you, or bury your son. The words hit like a physical blow. Liam started crying. Quietly, the way he did when he was truly scared. I looked at my son. 5 years old. Still learning to tie his shoes. Still believed monsters weren't real. And now men, with guns, were hunting us. Because I'd done the right thing. Because I'd saved a life. If I say yes, I whispered. What does that mean? It means you do exactly what I say. When I say it, no arguments. No questions. For how long? Until I eliminate the threat. You mean until you kill them? Yes. I closed my eyes, felt the weight of the decision crushing me. I'd come to this lake to escape violence, to give Liam a childhood without war. And now war had found us anyway. Okay, I said finally. Protect us. Luciano stood, pulled out his phone again, started giving orders. Within minutes, more vehicles arrived. Men in tactical gear. Equipment I didn't recognize. They moved through my home, like it was a military operation, setting up cameras, motion sensors, communication equipment. My quiet cabin turned into a fortress. One of Luciano's men approached. Older, hard face, military bearing. Boss, we caught the sniper alive. He's in the barn. Good. I want to talk to him. Sir. Luciano looked at me. Stay inside. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me. Where are you going? To find out who sent him. He left before I could respond. I watched through the window as he and 4 of his men walked toward the old barn at the edge of my property. Liam tugged at my shirt. Mommy, I'm scared. I picked him up, held him tight. Me too, baby. Me too. 20 minutes later, I heard screaming from the barn. A man's voice, begging, pleading, then silence. Luciano came back alone. There was blood on his knuckles. He didn't knock, just opened the door and walked in like he lived here. His name is Vincent Costa, low-level soldier for the Vitala family. He was paid $50,000 to kill you. Make it look like a robbery gone wrong. I felt sick. $50,000 for my life. They offered $200,000 if he killed your son too. My legs almost gave out. Luciano caught my arm, steadied me. Grace. Look at me. I forced myself to meet his eyes. I won't let them touch you. Or Liam. I swear it. Why? My voice broke. Why do you care? You don't even know us. Because you saved me, when you didn't have to. Because your son looked at me like I was just a man, not a monster. And because... He stopped, looked away. Because the Vitali family took my brother from me. I won't let them take anyone else. The way he said it. So quiet. So raw. This wasn't just about me. This was about his own demons. What happens now? I asked. Now, you and Liam stay here. My men will guard you 24/7. I'm going back to Albany to deal with this. Deal with this how? You don't want to know. Yes, I do. He studied me for a long moment. Then decided to tell me the truth. The Vitale family declared war the moment they tried to kill me. But they made a mistake. They left a witness. You. That gives me leverage. I'm going to use it. To do what? To destroy them. His phone rang. He answered. Listened. His expression hardened. When? A pause. I'm on my way. He hung up. Looked at me with something like regret. I have to go. There's been an incident at one of my properties. But I'm leaving 8 men here. They're the best I have. You'll be safe. Luciano. He stopped at the door. Turned back. Thank you. For this. Something shifted in his eyes. For just a second, he looked less like a mafia boss, and more like the man I'd pulled from the water. Vulnerable. Human. Don't thank me yet. This is just the beginning. Then he was gone. And I was left in my cabin, surrounded by armed strangers, wondering how my quiet life had turned into a war zone in less than 4 hours. The first night was the hardest. Liam wouldn't sleep. He kept asking questions. I didn't know how to answer. Why are those men outside? They're keeping us safe, baby. From what? From bad people. Like in the movies. Not like the movies. Real. That made it worse. He started crying. I held him until he finally passed out from exhaustion. I laid him in his bed, covered him with his favorite blanket, the one my husband had sent him from Afghanistan before he died. Then I sat on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, watching the guards patrol my property. 4 men at the perimeter. 2 at the cabin doors. 1 in a vehicle with communication equipment. 1 on the roof with a rifle. My peaceful home had become a military compound. I thought about my husband, Daniel. He died 3 years ago in Kandahar. Roadside bomb. He'd been trying to help a family whose car had broken down. Always helping. Always saving people. That's what got him killed. And now I'd done the same thing. Saved someone without thinking about the consequences. One of the guards approached, the older one from before. Ma'am, mind if I sit? I gestured to the empty chair. He sat, pulled out a thermos, poured coffee into 2 cups, handed me one. I'm Tony. Tony Greco. Been with Mr. Caruso for 15 years. Grace. I know. He smiled slightly. He told us to take care of you. Said you saved his life. I pulled him out of a lake. That's all. That's everything. You understand? In our world, life debts matter. He won't forget what you did. I didn't do it for a reward. I know. That's why he cares. We sat in silence for a moment. Can I ask you something? I said. Shoot. Is Luciano really as dangerous as people say? Tony took a sip of coffee, considered his answer carefully. Luciano Caruso is the most dangerous man I've ever met. And I've met a lot of dangerous men, but he's also the most loyal. If you're his, he'll burn the world down to protect you. If you're his enemy, he didn't finish. And what am I? Right now, you're someone he owes. That makes you untouchable in certain circles. But it also makes you a target in others. The Vitale family. Yeah, they're not going to stop. Not until you're dead or they are. The bluntness of it hit me. I just wanted to live quietly. Raise my son in peace. I get that. But peace is expensive. Sometimes you have to fight for it. I'm not a fighter. Tony looked at me. Really looked at me. You dove into burning jet fuel to save a drowning man. You're more of a fighter than you think. He stood, tipped his head. Get some rest, Mrs. Mullen. Tomorrow's going to be a long day. He was right. The next morning, Luciano came back. But he wasn't alone. 3 more SUVs. More men. And a moving truck. I stepped out onto the porch. What's all this? Luciano climbed out of the lead vehicle. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept. There was a fresh cut above his eye. What happened to you? The Vitale family hit one of my clubs last night. Killed 2 of my men, burned it to the ground. I'm sorry. Don't be. I hit 3 of theirs in return. We're even. He said it like he was talking about a business transaction. But it means things are escalating faster than I thought. You can't stay here. This is my home. This is a target. And they know exactly where it is. So what are you suggesting? I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you, you and Liam are coming with me. To Albany. To my property. It's secure. Fortified. They can't touch you there. No. Grace. No. I'm not leaving. Liam's whole life is here. His routine. His room. His things. I'm not uprooting him because of your war. This isn't my war anymore. It's yours too. I didn't ask for this. Neither did my brother. His voice rose. Hard. Angry. But they killed him anyway. And they'll kill you if you stay here. Liam appeared in the doorway. Eyes wide. Scared by the yelling. Both Luciano and I stopped. I took a breath. Lowered my voice. I need to think about what's best for my son. Then think about this. Luciano pulled out his phone. Showed me a photo. This is what the Vitale family does to witnesses. This woman testified against them 2 years ago. They found her in witness protection. This is what was left. I looked away, felt bile rise in my throat. I can't look at that. Then look at your son, and ask yourself if you're willing to risk him. I looked at Liam, standing there in his pajamas, clutching his stuffed bear, trusting me to keep him safe. I thought about Daniel, about how he'd always put others first, about how that got him killed. But I also thought about what he'd say if he were here. Protect our son. No matter what. Okay, I said quietly. We'll go. Good. Pack what you need. We leave in 30 minutes. 30 minutes? I need more time than... You have 30 minutes. The Vitale family knows I'm here. They're probably already moving. We can't wait. He walked back to his men. Started giving orders. I went inside. Stood in my kitchen. The kitchen where I'd made breakfast for Liam every morning for 3 years. Where we decorated cookies at Christmas. Where he'd learned to count using measuring cups. And now I was leaving it all behind. I started packing. 30 minutes wasn't enough time. I packed clothes for Liam, his favorite toys, his blanket, his books, everything that would make him feel safe in a strange place. For myself, I threw basics into a duffel bag. Jeans, shirts, nothing fancy. I didn't own anything fancy. Liam watched from his doorway, confused. Mommy, where are we going? On a trip, baby. Like a vacation? Sort of. For how long? I didn't know how to answer that. Just for a little while. But what about my stuff? My room? We're taking your important things with us. What about my fish? He pointed to the small aquarium in the corner. 3 goldfish swimming in circles. I looked at the fish. Then, at Liam's face. He was trying so hard to be brave. Mr. Carl will take care of them. Okay? Promise? Promise. Tony appeared at the door. Mrs. Mullen, we need to move. 2 more minutes. We don't have 2 minutes. I grabbed the last of Liam's things. Took one final look around the cabin. The home I'd built for us. Our sanctuary. And walked out. Luciano was waiting by the SUV. He took my bag without asking. Put it in the trunk. Liam rides with you. Middle vehicle. It's the most protected. What about you? I'll be in the lead car. Why? Because if anyone's shooting, they'll aim for me first. The casualness of it chilled me. He opened the door. I got in with Liam. A guard I didn't know climbed into the driver's seat, another in the passenger side, both armed. The convoy started moving. I watched through the rear window as my cabin disappeared into the trees, smaller and smaller until I couldn't see it anymore. Liam pressed his face to the window. Bye, house. I pulled him close. Kissed the top of his head. We'll be back soon, baby. But I didn't know if that was true. The drive to Albany took 90 minutes. Liam fell asleep halfway through, exhausted from the stress. I held him against me, stroking his hair, watching the landscape change. Forest gave way to suburbs. Suburbs to city. Trees to buildings. The noise increased. Traffic. Sirens. Construction. People everywhere. Everything I'd run from 3 years ago. We pulled off the highway into a neighborhood I didn't recognize. Old industrial buildings. Warehouses. Not the kind of place I expected a mafia boss to live. Then we turned onto a private road. Gates opened automatically. High walls on both sides. Cameras everywhere. The road wound upward. And suddenly, we were somewhere else entirely. A compound. Modern buildings, mixed with renovated industrial structures. Gardens. Security checkpoints. It looked like a small private campus. At the center, a massive building. Glass and steel and stone. 5 stories. Balconies, overlooking the city below. The vehicle stopped in a circular driveway. Luciano appeared at my door. Opened it. Welcome to Caruso property. I stepped out, carrying Liam. He stirred but didn't wake. The building in front of us was intimidating. All sharp lines and dark glass. Nothing soft. Nothing welcoming. This is where you live? The top 2 floors are mine. The rest is offices, meeting rooms, places I conduct business. And where will we stay? With me. Top floor. Guest wing. It's secure. Private. You'll have everything you need. A woman appeared from inside. Older, maybe 60. Kind face. Wearing an apron. Mrs. Mullen, I'm Rosa. I manage the household. Let me show you to your rooms. Luciano nodded to her. Rosa will take care of you. I have meetings. I'll check on you tonight. Wait, I said. What am I supposed to do here? Stay alive. Keep your son safe. Let me handle the rest. He walked away before I could respond. Rosa smiled gently. Come, dear. You must be exhausted. I followed her inside. The interior was nothing like I expected. Yes, it was modern, expensive, but there were touches of warmth. Plants, art, photographs of people, not just cold, abstract pieces. We took an elevator to the 5th floor. Rosa talked as we rose. Mr. Caruso called ahead. I prepared the east wing for you. 2 bedrooms, private bathroom, small kitchen. Everything you need for the boy. Thank you. The elevator opened directly into a hallway. Polished wood floors, high ceilings, windows overlooking the city. Rosa led us to a set of double doors. Opened them. The space inside took my breath away. It was beautiful, warm hardwood, soft lighting. A living area with comfortable furniture. A kitchen with modern appliances. And through open doors I could see 2 bedrooms. This one is for you, Rosa said, showing me the master. And this is for little Liam. She opened the second door. I almost cried. Someone had decorated it for a child. A real bed with a blue comforter, shelves with books and toys, a small desk, drawings of animals on the walls. How Mr. Caruso sent photos of Liam's room at your cabin. We tried to match it. I looked at Rosa, really looked at her. Why would he do this? She smiled. Because despite what people think, Mr. Caruso is not a monster. He's just a man who's seen too much darkness. But you, she touched my arm gently. You pulled him into the light. Even if just for a moment, he won't forget that. I didn't know what to say. Rosa patted my hand. Rest. I'll bring food in an hour. If you need anything, there's a phone on the counter. Just press 1. She left, closing the doors softly behind her. I carried Liam to his new room, laid him on the bed. He curled up immediately, still clutching his bear. I stood there for a long time, just watching him sleep. 3 days ago, my biggest worry was whether I'd catch enough fish for dinner. Now I was living in a Mafia boss's compound, hiding from assassins, in a city I'd sworn I'd never return to. How had everything changed so fast? I walked to the window, looked out at Albany spread below, lights starting to come on as the sun set. Thousands of people living their normal lives. And here I was, in a tower, like some fairy tale princess, except the dragon wasn't outside. He was the one protecting me. The vehicles stopped in a circular driveway. Luciano appeared at my door. Opened it. Welcome to Caruso property. I stepped out, carrying Liam. He stirred but didn't wake. The building in front of us was intimidating. All sharp lines and dark glass. Nothing soft, nothing welcoming. This is where you live? The top 2 floors are mine. The rest is offices, meeting rooms, places I conduct business. And where will we stay? With me. Top floor. Guest wing. It's secure. Private. You'll have everything you need. A woman appeared from inside. Older, maybe 60, kind face, wearing an apron. Mrs. Mullen, I'm Rosa. I manage the household. Let me show you to your rooms. Luciano nodded to her. Rosa will take care of you. I have meetings. I'll check on you tonight. Wait, I said. What am I supposed to do here? Stay alive. Keep your son safe. Let me handle the rest. He walked away before I could respond. Rosa smiled gently. Come, dear. You must be exhausted. I followed her inside. The interior was nothing like I expected. Yes, it was modern, expensive. But there were touches of warmth. Plants, art, photographs of people, not just cold abstract pieces. We took an elevator to the 5th floor. Rosa talked. As we rose, Mr. Caruso called ahead. I prepared the east wing for you. 2 bedrooms, private bathroom, small kitchen, everything you need for the boy. Thank you. The elevator opened directly into a hallway. Polished wood floors, high ceilings, windows overlooking the city. Rosa led us to a set of double doors. Opened them. The space inside took my breath away. It was beautiful. Warm hardwood, soft lighting, a living area with comfortable furniture, a kitchen with modern appliances, and through open doors I could see 2 bedrooms. This one is for you, Rosa said, showing me the master. And this is for little Liam. She opened the second door. I almost cried. Someone had decorated it for a child. A real bed with a blue comforter, shelves with books and toys, a small desk, drawings of animals on the walls. How? Mr. Caruso sent photos of Liam's room at your cabin. We tried to match it. I looked at Rosa, really looked at her. Why would he do this? She smiled. Because despite what people think, Mr. Caruso is not a monster. He's just a man who's seen too much darkness. But you, she touched my arm gently. You pulled him into the light. Even if just for a moment. He won't forget that. I didn't know what to say. Rosa patted my hand. Rest. I'll bring food in an hour. If you need anything, there's a phone on the counter. Just press 1. She left, closing the doors softly behind her. I carried Liam to his new room, laid him on the bed. He curled up immediately, still clutching his bear. I stood there, for a long time, just watching him sleep. 3 days ago, my biggest worry was whether I'd catch enough fish for dinner. Now I was living in a Mafia boss's compound, hiding from assassins, in a city I'd sworn I'd never return to. How had everything changed so fast? I walked to the window, looked out at Albany spread below, lights starting to come on as the sun set, thousands of people living their normal lives. And here I was, in a tower, like some fairy tale princess, except a dragon wasn't outside. He was the one protecting me. The first few days were strange. Liam adjusted faster than I did. Kids always do. He was excited by the newness. The big rooms, the city views, Rosa's cooking. Mommy, can we stay here forever? No, baby. This is just temporary. But I like it here. Rosa makes pancakes with chocolate chips. I didn't know how to explain that this wasn't our world, that we didn't belong here, that this was borrowed time. Luciano was rarely around. I'd see him in the mornings sometimes. Always dressed in those expensive suits. Always on the phone. Always moving with purpose. He'd nod to me, ask if we needed anything, then disappear for the rest of the day. At night, I'd hear him come back. Late. Sometimes very late. I'd hear his footsteps in the hall, the door to his part of the floor opening and closing. Once, I heard voices. Angry voices. Italian. Shouting. Then silence. The next morning, there was a new dent in the hallway wall. On the third day, I finally left the apartment. I needed air. Needed to move. Felt like I was going crazy in those beautiful rooms. Rosa offered to watch Liam. He was helping her bake cookies. He barely noticed when I left. I took the elevator down to the ground floor. Walked outside. The compound was bigger than I'd realized. There was a garden. Actual grass. Trees. A small fountain. I sat on a bench. Closed my eyes. Listened, but it wasn't the same. Even here, I could hear the city. Traffic. Horns. The constant hum of people and machines. Not like the lake, where the only sounds were water and wind and birds. You look like you want to run. I opened my eyes. Luciano stood a few feet away, jacket off, shirt sleeves rolled up, looking less polished than usual. I didn't hear you coming. Old habit. He gestured to the bench. May I? I nodded. He sat, not too close, leaving space between us. We sat in silence for a moment. You hate it here, he said finally. I don't hate it, but you don't like it. I chose my words carefully. It's not home. No, it's not. He leaned back, looked up at the sky, or what little of it we could see between the buildings. I grew up in the city, Brooklyn, then Manhattan, then here. I've never lived anywhere else. Never wanted to. I never thought about it. This is my world. My territory. Everything I control is here. Control. I turned to him. Is that what it's all about? Control? In my world? Yes. If you don't control everything, someone will control you. That sounds exhausting. He almost smiled. It is. Then why do it? Because the alternative is worse. Being powerless. Being at someone else's mercy. I won't live that way. Not after. He stopped. After your brother. Yes. More silence. Can I ask you something? I said. Go ahead. When you were in the water, sinking, what did you think about? He looked at me. Something shifted in his expression. I thought about Matteo. About how I'd failed to protect him. About how maybe this was what I deserved. You don't deserve to die, don't I? You have no idea what I've done. The things I've ordered. The people I've hurt. You're right. I don't know, but I know you've kept me and Liam safe. I know you had someone decorate his room so he'd feel at home. I know you're trying. Trying to what? To be more than what people expect you to be. He stared at me for a long moment, like he was seeing me for the first time. You're not what I expected either. What did you expect? Someone who'd be terrified of me. Who'd take the money and run. I don't know. Not someone who'd sit on a bench and tell me I'm trying. I smiled despite myself, sorry to disappoint. You haven't. He stood. I have a meeting. But Grace? Yes? Thank you. For what you said. He walked away before I could respond. I sat there for a while longer. Thinking about Luciano Caruso. About the man under the suit. Under the reputation. About the boy who'd lost his brother and never forgave himself. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about home. About the cabin. About whether my garden was okay. Whether Carl was remembering to feed the fish. Whether I'd ever go back. I got up. Put on my robe. Walked to the living area. The city was still awake below. Lights everywhere. Even at 2 in the morning, it never stopped. I heard a sound from the hallway. I opened the door carefully, looked out. Luciano was there, sitting on the floor, back against the wall, head in his hands. Luciano? He looked up. His eyes were red. There was blood on his shirt. Are you hurt? It's not mine. That should have scared me. But somehow, it didn't. I sat down beside him, on the floor, in my pajamas and robe, next to a man covered in someone else's blood. What happened? I found the man who burned my club, who killed my men. His voice was flat, empty. I made him tell me everything. Who ordered it, where they're operating from, how they found you. And then I killed him. He said it so simply, like he was describing paperwork. Does it ever get easier, killing? He looked at me. No, it gets harder, every time. Because you remember all the ones before. They add up, stack on top of each other, until you can't remember what it felt like to have clean hands. Then why do it? Because if I don't, they'll kill people I care about. People who don't deserve to die. Like your brother. Like my brother. I reached out, took his hand. It was shaking slightly. You're not a monster, Luciano. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Monsters don't shake after they kill. Monsters don't sit in hallways at 2 in the morning hating themselves. Monsters don't decorate rooms for 5-year-olds. He looked at our joined hands, like he couldn't quite believe I was touching him. My husband used to have nightmares, I said quietly. After his deployments, he'd wake up screaming, covered in sweat. And he'd tell me about the things he'd seen, the things he'd done. He thought he was a monster, too. What did you tell him? I told him that monsters don't cry. Monsters don't regret. Monsters don't come home to the people they love and try to be better. I squeezed his hand. You're not a monster. You're just a man trying to survive in an impossible world. He was quiet for a long time. Then, so softly I almost didn't hear it. I'm tired, Grace. I'm so tired of this life. Then stop. I can't. Too many people depend on me. Too many enemies would move in if I showed weakness. The moment I stop, everything falls apart. Or maybe, I said, the moment you stop, you finally get to breathe. He looked at me. Really looked at me. And something passed between us. Something I wasn't ready to name. You should go back to bed, he said. So should you. I don't sleep much anymore. When was the last time you slept through the night? He thought about it. 2 years. Since Matteo died. My heart broke a little. Come on. I stood. Pulled him up. Where are we going? You're going to try to sleep? And I'm going to sit with you until you do? Grace, you don't have to. I know. But I'm going to anyway. I led him to his part of the floor. He opened the door. His space was different from ours. Darker. Harder. Less warmth. Just clean lines and expensive furniture that nobody sat on. You live here? I asked. I sleep here. I don't live anywhere. That was the saddest thing I'd ever heard. Bedroom. He led me to it. Large bed. Perfectly made. Looked like it had never been slept in. Lie down. Grace. Lie down, Luciano. He did. Still in his bloody clothes. Too exhausted to argue. I pulled a chair next to the bed. Sat down. Close your eyes. This is ridiculous. Close them. He did. I started talking. Quietly. About nothing important. About the lake. About fishing with Liam. About the time we saw a deer and her fawn at dawn. About the sound of rain on the cabin roof. About peace. His breathing slowed. Deepened. Within 20 minutes, he was asleep. I stayed there, watching him. This dangerous man who looked almost vulnerable in sleep. And I realized something that terrified me. I was starting to care about him, not because he was protecting us. Not out of obligation. But because underneath everything, he was just a broken man trying to do right in a world that punished goodness. Like my husband had been. I stayed until sunrise. Then quietly left. Back in my room, I stood at the window, watched the city wake up, and wondered what the hell I was doing. The next afternoon, everything changed. Luciano came to our apartment. Midday. He never came midday. His face was grim. What's wrong? I asked immediately. We need to talk. Privately. I looked at Liam. He was building with blocks in his room. Rosa was in the kitchen. Rosa, can you watch him? Of course, dear. I followed Luciano out to the hallway. He led me to an office down the corridor, closed the door behind us. The Vitale family made contact. What does that mean? They want to negotiate. That's good, right? No, it's not. He handed me his phone. They sent this. I looked at the screen. It was a photo. My cabin. But not the way I'd left it. Windows broken. Door kicked in. Furniture overturned. And spray painted on the wall in red. We know where you live. My hands started shaking. When, last night, while you were with me, they went to your home and destroyed it. Carl, my neighbor. Is he? He's fine. They didn't touch him. This was a message. For you. For me. What kind of message? That they can reach you anywhere. That nowhere is safe. That they want me to know they're not afraid. I sat down heavily. Felt the room spinning. Grace. Luciano crouched in front of me. Look at me. I did. They're trying to scare you. Trying to make you turn on me. Tell me to give you up so they'll leave you alone. But that's not going to work. Because if I give you up, they'll kill you anyway. The only way you survive this is if I end them first. How? How do you end an entire family? I'm working on it. But I need you to trust me. Can you do that? I thought about it. Really thought about it. This man I'd known for less than a week. This criminal. This killer. Could I trust him with my life? With Liam's life? I looked in his eyes. Saw the determination there. The rage. But also something else. Protection. Genuine care. Yes, I said. I trust you. Good. Because tomorrow I'm taking you somewhere. Somewhere they'll never find you. Where? A safe house. Upstate. In the mountains. Completely off-grid. No records. No digital trail. Only 3 people know it exists. For how long? As long as it takes. And what will you be doing? Hunting. The words sent a chill through me. Luciano. They came to your home, Grace. They destroyed the place where you felt safe. Where you raised your son. Where you mourned your husband. They don't get to walk away from that. I could see it in him. The shift. From the man who'd slept peacefully next to me. To the man everyone feared. Don't become a monster for me. I won't. But I will become their nightmare. There's a difference. He stood, headed for the door. Luciano. I called. He turned. Come back. When it's done, come back. Something softened in his expression. I will. He left. And I sat there in that office, in that building, in that city, and wondered if I'd just watched a good man walk toward his own destruction. The safe house wasn't what I expected. I'd imagined something sterile, cold, like a bunker. Instead, it was a cabin, smaller than mine, older, but warm, wood-burning stove, handmade furniture, windows overlooking a valley so remote I couldn't see another building in any direction. Where are we? I asked. Tony, who'd driven us, smiled. Middle of nowhere. Nearest town is 40 miles. No cell service, no internet. Just mountains and trees and quiet. Liam's eyes were huge. Are there bears? Maybe. But they're more scared of you than you are of them. Cool. I looked around. At the isolation. The silence. The peace. It felt like home. How long do we stay? As long as the boss says. Could be a week. Could be a month. But you'll be safe here. I promise. He showed us around. 2 bedrooms. Small kitchen. Bathroom. With a wood-heated water system. Shelves stocked with food. Firewood stacked. Outside. There's a radio in the bedroom. Emergency only. You call. We come. Otherwise nobody knows you're here. Not even Luciano? Especially not Luciano. That's the point. If he doesn't know where you are, he can't accidentally tell someone under duress. The thought of Luciano under duress made my stomach turn. He'll be okay, right? Tony's expression was unreadable. He's survived worse. That wasn't reassuring. Tony left an hour later. Drove down the mountain road until I couldn't see his vehicle anymore. And then it was just us. Me and Liam. Alone. Just like before. But different. Because now I knew what was out there. Who was hunting us? What Luciano was doing to keep us safe. Liam adjusted immediately. It was closer to our old life than Albany had been. He explored the woods. built forts, pretended to be a wilderness explorer. I tried to keep busy, cooking, cleaning, reading, anything to not think about Luciano. But I thought about him constantly. At night, after Liam went to sleep, I'd sit by the fire and wonder where he was, what he was doing, if he was safe, if he was still alive. 5 days passed, then 6, then 7. No word, no contact, just silence. On the 8th day, Liam asked the question I'd been dreading. Mommy, is Luca coming back? We were sitting on the porch, watching the sunset paint the mountains gold. I don't know, baby. Do you think he's okay? I hope so. Me too, I like him. I looked at my son. You do? Yeah. He's not like the other grown-ups. What do you mean? Liam thought about it. The way kids do. Seriously. Carefully. Most grown-ups talk to me like I'm dumb. Like I don't understand things. But Luca talks to me like I'm real. Like what I think matters. My throat tightened. He told me about his brother. Liam continued. About how he died. And how Luca misses him every day. He told you that? Yeah. When you were taking a nap in Albany, we were in the garden, and I asked him why he looked so sad, and he told me. What else did he say? He said his brother was little like me, and that he didn't protect him good enough. And that's why he has to protect everyone now, so it doesn't happen again. Tears burned my eyes, and I told him, Liam said, his small voice, very serious, that it wasn't his fault, that sometimes bad things happen, and you can't stop them, like with Daddy. I pulled him close, held him tight. You're very wise, you know that? That's what Luca said too. He looked up at me. Mommy? Yes? If Luca comes back, can he stay with us? At our cabin? Baby, Luca has his own life, his own home, but he doesn't like it there. I can tell. He likes being with us better. How do you know that? Because he smiles more when you're there. Real smiles, not the fake ones he does with everyone else. Out of the mouths of babes. We'll see. Okay? Okay. He went back to his drawings. Content. But I sat there, watching the sun disappear behind the mountains, and felt something shift inside me. Liam was right. Luciano did smile, more around us. Did seem more himself, more human. And I smiled more around him too, despite everything, despite the violence and the danger and the impossibility of it all. I was falling for a mafia boss, a man who killed for a living, who lived in a world of darkness and blood and betrayal, but who also decorated rooms for children, who shook after he killed, who fell asleep to stories about lakes and peace, who was out there right now risking everything to keep us safe. Please come back, I whispered to the wind. Please. On the 10th day, I heard an engine. I was inside, making lunch. Liam was in his room, reading. The sound grew louder, coming up the mountain road. My heart stopped. Tony had said nobody knew we were here. Nobody should be coming, unless something had gone wrong. I grabbed Liam. Go to your room. Hide under the bed. Don't come out until I say, but Mommy. Now, Liam. He heard the fear in my voice. Ran. I looked around for a weapon, found a kitchen knife, held it with shaking hands. The engine stopped. A door opened. Closed. Footsteps on the porch. A knock. I didn't answer. Grace. It's me, Luciano. I dropped the knife, ran to the door, threw it open. He stood there, alive, whole, but different, thinner, exhausted. A new scar on his jaw. His eyes haunted in a way I'd never seen before. You came back. I told you I would, without thinking. I threw my arms around him. He stiffened, surprised. Then slowly, carefully, his arms came around me too. We stood there on that porch, holding each other. Neither of us speaking. Finally he pulled back, looked at me. It's done. What's done? The Vitale family. Marco is dead. His father is dead. Their key lieutenants are dead, or in custody. The other families have divided their territory. They're finished. I should have felt relief, victory, safety, but all I felt was sadness. For what it had cost him. Are you okay? I'm alive. That's more than I expected. Luca. Liam came running from inside, threw himself at Luciano's legs. Luciano caught him, lifted him up, For the first time since I'd met him, he smiled. Really smiled. Hey, little man, you been taking care of your mom? Yeah, I've been real brave. Just like you said. I'm proud of you. Liam hugged his neck. I missed you. Something broke in Luciano's expression, just for a second. But I saw it. I missed you too. He set Liam down. The boy ran back inside, already talking about all the things he wanted to show him. Luciano and I stood alone again. You can go home now, he said. Back to your cabin. I had it repaired, replaced everything they destroyed. It's exactly like it was. That must have cost a fortune. I don't care about the money. Luciano, you're safe now, Grace. You and Liam, that's all that matters. You can go back to your life, your peace. Everything you came to that lake for. He said it like it was simple. Like I could just walk away and forget everything that had happened. And what about you? I go back to Albany. To my life. To my world. The world you hate. The world I belong to. What if you belong somewhere else now? He looked at me sharply. Grace, you've been here for 10 minutes, and Liam is happier than I've seen him in days. You smiled, really smiled, for the first time since I met you. Because it's over. Because you're safe. No. Because you're here. With us. Away from all of that. I can't just leave. Why not? Because I have responsibilities. People who depend on me. Enemies who would move in the moment I showed weakness. Or maybe, I stepped closer. Maybe they'd see a man who was strong enough to walk away, to choose something different. It's not that simple. Isn't it? You spent 2 years avenging your brother. Fighting wars. Killing people. And for what? Does it bring him back? Does it make you feel better? No, but it's all I know how to do. That's not true. You know how to protect. How to care. How to be gentle with a 5-year-old boy who lost his father. How to make me feel safe for the first time in 3 years. His eyes searched mine. Grace, what are you saying? I took a breath. This was it. The moment that would change everything. I'm saying I don't want to go back to the lake without you. I'm saying that cabin isn't home anymore without you in it. I'm saying that Liam needs a father figure, and I need someone who understands what it's like to lose everything and still choose to keep going. I'm not a good man. I don't need a good man. I need an honest one. And you're the most honest person I've met. You don't pretend. You don't hide who you are. You just are. I've killed people, Grace. A lot of people. My husband killed people too. In war. For his country. You kill people to protect the people you love. I don't see the difference. There's a huge difference. Not to me. He stared at me. Like he was trying to decide if I was real. You don't know what you're asking. Yes, I do. I'm asking you to try. To give yourself a chance at something different. At peace. At a life that doesn't end in violence. I don't know how to do that. Neither did I. But I learned. And you can too. Liam appeared in the doorway. Luca, are you staying for dinner? Luciano looked at him. Then at me. Then back at Liam. And I saw the exact moment he surrendered. Yeah, little man, I'm staying for dinner. Liam cheered. Ran back inside. Luciano stepped closer to me. Close enough that I could feel the warmth of him. This is insane. I know. I'm going to be terrible at this. Probably. I don't know how to be normal. Good. I don't want normal. I just want you. He reached up. Touched my face. His hand was rough. Scarred. But gentle. I've never wanted anything the way I want this. The way I want you. And that terrifies me. Good. Be terrified. Be terrified and choose it anyway. He kissed me then. Soft. Careful. Like I might break. I kissed him back. Harder. Showing him I wasn't fragile. That I could handle his darkness. His past. His world. When we pulled apart, he rested his forehead against mine. I'll try. I don't know if I can change. But I'll try. That's all I'm asking. We stood there. 2 broken people who'd found each other in the worst possible circumstances. And decided to be broken together. 6 months later, I stood on the porch of the cabin. The sun was setting, over Saratoga Lake, painting everything gold. Liam was down at the dock with Luciano, both of them holding fishing rods. Liam chattering about something, Luciano listening patiently. The cabin looked the same as before, but it felt different. There were new things now. Luciano's coffee maker in the kitchen, his jacket on the hook by the door, his books on the shelf next to mine. He came every weekend, Friday evening to Sunday night, sometimes longer if he could manage it. He was still based in Albany, still ran his business, but he'd changed how he did things, delegated more, stepped back from the day-to-day violence. I'm teaching them to operate without me, he'd said. So eventually I can leave completely. It would take time, maybe years, but he was trying, and that was enough. I heard laughter from the dock. Looked down to see Liam holding up a fish, small but proud. Luciano helped him unhook it, showed him how to release it gently back into the water. Liam hugged him, spontaneous, natural, and Luciano hugged him back. Not stiff anymore, not awkward, just a man hugging a child he cared about. My heart swelled. Luciano looked up, saw me watching, smiled. That smile, that was just for us, just for these moments. Away from his world, in ours. He said something to Liam. The boy nodded, ran toward the cabin. Luciano walked up the dock, climbed the porch steps, stood next to me. Catch anything? I asked. 3. We threw them all back. Liam's getting good. He has a good teacher. He slipped his arm around my waist, pulled me close. We stood like that, watching the sun disappear, the lake turning dark. I have to go back tomorrow, he said quietly. I know. There's a situation. It might take a few days to resolve. Be careful. Always. Luciano? Yeah? Thank you. For what? For choosing this. For choosing us. I know it's not easy. He kissed the top of my head. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. Liam burst out of the cabin. Mom, Luca, come see. There's a deer. We followed him around the side of the cabin. And sure enough, there was a doe, standing at the edge of the trees, watching us with calm eyes. Liam whispered, She's beautiful. Yes, she is, Luciano whispered back. The deer stayed for a moment longer, then turned and disappeared into the forest. Liam looked up at Luciano. Will you be here next weekend? I'll try, buddy. Promise? Luciano crouched down, looked him in the eye. I promise. Nothing will keep me from coming back to you guys. Good, because Mom's teaching me how to make your favorite cookies, and I want to surprise you. Luciano smiled, ruffled his hair. I can't wait. Liam ran back inside, probably to start planning the surprise he'd just ruined. Luciano stood, looked at me. He called me Luca. He's called you that for months. I know, but it never stops meaning something. He loves you. I love him too. Both of you. He took my hand. 3 years ago, I thought I knew what I was fighting for. Revenge, justice, control. But I was wrong. This is what I was fighting for. This moment, this life, you. I squeezed his hand. We're not perfect. This isn't easy. Nothing worth having is easy. Spoken like a man who's had to fight for everything. Maybe. But this? He gestured at the cabin. The lake, the peace. This I don't have to fight for. This I just have to show up for. And that's the difference. We went inside, had dinner together, the 3 of us, like a family. After Liam went to bed, Luciano and I sat by the fire, his head on my shoulder, my hand in his hair. I pulled a stranger from the lake 6 months ago, I said quietly. I thought I was just saving a life. And now I know. I was saving my own. He lifted his head, looked at me. Grace Mullen, you saved me in every way a person can be saved, and I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never regret it. I could never regret you. He kissed me, slow, deep, full of promise. Outside, the lake was silent. The stars were out. The world was at peace. And inside this cabin, 2 broken people had found a way to be whole. I thought I'd come to Saratoga Lake to escape, to hide, to stop caring. But instead, I found the one person who made me want to care again, who made me want to fight, who made me want to believe in second chances. Luciano Caruso had entered my life, covered in blood and secrets and danger. But he'd stayed for the quiet moments, the morning coffee, the fishing trips, the way Liam laughed at his terrible jokes. He'd stayed for the peace, and I'd stay for him, for as long as he'd have me. for as long as we both shall live.